All right, we are live. What's going on, family? All right. Peace and love, family. What's going on? It is your boy Mario Quinn, and we are here with yet another episode of the Level Up Podcast, family. This is episode 105, and I must say, God damn it, I'm really excited for this Monday. It's been a great Monday. We're back at work. We're back at school. We're back in the thick of things, and like I said, I'm really excited. But I'm more so excited about my very special guest that we have here on this episode of the Level Up Podcast, episode 105. My boy, Aaron Mcclendon. How are you feeling today, bro?
I am feeling grand, man. It is good to be here. I'm
Yes,
glad
sir.
to be on the show.
Yes, sir.
Glad, yeah, man. We've been doing a little work last few weeks.
We've been going in.
Yeah, man. Man, it's good to work with some other artists that have as much of a passion for
Yes,
what
sir.
we do as I do, you know.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, man. You guys are doing great things down here at the Level Up, and I'm, glad that you let me be a part of everything.
Yes, sir. Hey, man. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this show. I'm really grateful for that. But speaking of talents and passions and things of that nature, if you can just tell the people what it is that you do, brother, here in the city of Pittsburgh, that'd be great.
What don't I do? I guess you could say. No, I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, primarily centered around photography.
Okay.
I've been a professional photographer, videographer for the better part of 20 years.
Okay.
Got out of it for a minute and, just getting back into things and just doing things that are passion projects to me, I got burned out because I was living a full-time photographer life as a business, and it just burned me out. So now, during quarantine, actually, I decided to start shooting again, just because we had nothing else to do. I was like, I want to shoot something. So, and now I'm, slowly growing and getting back into the business thing, but really working on only select projects, so I don't ever get into that situation where I'm burned out with doing something that I love,
right?
Genuinely love. I mean, I've always had an eye for the visual, and I've been doing this since what it was like 16, 17.
Yeah, I mean years. So for those who are watching and listening to this podcast, Aaron and I, we went to college together.
Yes.
We both went to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh. But can you talk a little bit about your experience as a student and how that prepared you to be in the professional world?
Well, what it did was teach me how to work with others, and putting together a common goal, putting together a project, delegating responsibilities of the project. Because believe me, and actually I got into photography because I don't like editing. I actually started in television, worked as a professional cameraman, PBS, worked at WBGN TV here in Pittsburgh, had my own TV show.
So more of the post-production or like
well,
what would you call that?
I was a cameraman at PBS. WOSU was my work study job when I went to Ohio State. They happened to discontinue their program, which led me up to the Art Institute here. But I worked in a position at WBGN called Master Control. Basically, everything that you see on air on television goes through Master Control. You're from the commercials to the shows. Somebody used to have to physically switch that.
Yeah. I'm thinking like Master Control. That's the master of the guy that controls it.
Yeah, I mean, if the thing goes out, the master control person scrambling to get it back on. You're when productions coming over the satellites and so forth, you're either recording them or airing them live. You had a lot of responsibilities. It started to change once the onset of computers. You literally have a logbook about this thick, and you see everything that's within that book. It has a time for everything that's going to air on TV. And you literally would have to switch satellite one, VTR actually one. Is just the hard drive. So later on, as computers started taking it over, you could actually program the hard drive just to play all day. So it'll play everything. And I left out of that industry as that started being said. It was great. I would set the thing and go to sleep. There was a big couch in there. I'd be knocked out. Yeah, I love Master Control. It gives you a lot of insight into television, and just craziest things like. I don't want to get it all political and things. It's talking about prescription drugs and drug companies. My personal views of them were formed as a master control person because we would literally air this great drug, the commercial for a particular prescription drug, and they start rambling off the side effects, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, including and up to death. Yeah, my foot was just
way worse. You're like, God damn, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, my foot was just itching. Now I might die. Like, no, but what? And then the next hour, I'd air a commercial for a law firm suing that drug company with a class action lawsuit.
So wait a second. So let's unpack that a little bit.
Okay.
So why do you think that is? Why do we think that, or why is it that there are pharmaceutical companies that, are here to help whatever disease we have or to cure whatever disease we have, but the side effects are crazy? And then in the same slot, there's a commercial with a lawyer saying, hey, have you ever been given this same fucking drug?
Have you or a family member died
from this drug?
Yeah.
Why is that? Have
you
ever thought about what that meant?
Well, no, I didn't have to think about it. I worked in television. I know what it's about.
So what is it about?
It's capitalism at its finest. I remember in the 90s when it was during the Clinton administration when they allowed prescription drugs to start advertising on television. That you used to not be allowed to advertise prescription drugs, and that happened like some early mid 90s. That law passed, and instantly, most people don't realize, like, television, the two things that keep television going are prescription drugs and elections. It's really ridiculous, but it's capitalism. The prescription drug companies, they're not paid to cure diseases. The money is in the treatment,
right?
And there are other things that I learned is like a lot of these syndromes and diseases and stuff, they go through advertising agencies. Restless Leg Syndrome was one that I always found funny. Does your legs
Restless
move?
legs.
That was
are you walking?
Yes. Did you walk? Do your toes wiggle? You might have RLS.
Does your toes wiggle?
You might have RLS.
Yes.
Take this
your
medication.
legs might be restless. You can move them shits. I promise you'll be all right.
They came from an advertising agency, man, and that was done by I believe it was out of Florida. And but then you look at the side effects, and they're like, yeah, restless leg syndrome. My leg moves, and then now your leg might fall off, your toes might be amputated, you may get a cancer, and you may die.
So all right, let's get back serious. So thinking about like propaganda, right? And so in this capitalistic society, we use a lot of propaganda, and knowing the things that I guess they or whatever do in terms of like marketing and media and using that in a way that is hitting our subconscious, is psychologically affecting us. How does understanding that inform your work? You know what I mean? Like, do you use those same practices? How are you using that psychosis, I guess, in order to push your work forward?
All television is forms of mind control, and not in the sense of what your first thought would be when I say that. When I went to the Art Institute, we didn't really learn how to entertain people. We learned how to fool your brain. So just think about an edit of a person walking up the steps. They don't show them walking up every step. They show like 3 steps, and your brain just kind of puts it together.
Understands that there was a journey to get to.
Right, exactly. Yeah. When you see an interview with people on television, sometimes only one person's on the camera, but you angle the camera in a certain way. It's called look space, and the brain just puts that together. That's controlling a person's mind. You can make a person cry. You can make a person happy. You can make a person feel good, all with the power of television. and media, and that's a form of mind control. Now, what the scary thing is that there's a very good documentary on Netflix right now called The Social Dilemma.
I think I've seen that. That's the social media joint, right?
It's about social media. It's about how these supercomputers are basically, I mean, it's such a manipulation, and basically these supercomputers are making the perfect avatar version
of you. Oh yeah, it had the cutscenes of the guys like that shit was weird as fuck.
And the whole idea is for capitalist purposes is to sell advertising so you buy more products. And
that shit works.
It does.
I'm not gonna lie, that shit works. I look through my Instagram, I look through my Facebook, and I'm like, I don't even have to say anything out loud.
Oh yeah.
They're on my phone. I'll be like, man, I'm just thinking about boxing. I'm thinking about these things. I'm thinking about these things. And that shit will show up on my Facebook as an advertisement.
Oh
or
yeah.
my Instagram as an advertisement.
It's like so much that you're like you said, you don't have to say it. You just start thinking about things, and it's like, whoa, man, they really. And
because they understand the patterns of human thought.
Right.
They're like, okay, there's this pattern.
The algorithm.
He likes this thing. Okay. From a pattern perspective, he'll probably get to this point very soon.
Yeah.
So we're gonna advertise that.
Exactly.
And that's crazy.
And here's the thing: they're trying to and on that documentary, the people that they're interviewing are the dude who created the like button on Facebook, the dude who created Gmail. All the people who made this technology are sounding an alarm, talking about how out of control the technology is.
Yeah.
You have these computers that can computate millions of computations at the speed of light.
You know what I found from watching that series? What I thought was really interesting is that email is considered social media. A lot of people don't know that.
I didn't know.
A lot of people they said the dude was like, my favorite social media platform is Gmail.
Oh yeah,
like that's crazy to think about. It's like, dude, I thought that was just a platform to share information in terms of like business and like, you know, things like that. But it's like, no, that's an actual social media platform.
Well, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to share the thing. The thing. I'm doing it right now. Yeah. But it is. These platforms get more powerful. That being said, I just built a platform, but no.
We'll get to that.
No. It ties in. It's like, well, shoot. There we go. Sorry, I had to get that live out there.
You're fine. So he had to share the live stream, family, if you were wondering what was going on. But Aaron, I want to kind of dive a little bit deeper into your past. Like I said, I know this guy from college, from doing business together, hanging out, all those things. But can you talk a little bit about what those beginning times were like for you? Like what because obviously you didn't. I would assume that you didn't start off as a photographer or a videographer or a media person. Maybe you had an interest in something else. Can you dive a little bit deeper about those past times that you had and how that got you to where you are today?
So let's start all the way back and when I fell in love with television and media. It was a couple of things there, but the main one was I was a part of a program through the Office of Minority Affairs in Ohio at the Ohio State University called the Young Scholars Program.
Okay.
And Young Scholars, basically took you from 6th grade all the way until your senior year of high school, and then when you graduated, you had a scholarship to Ohio State.
Oh wow! So it's like the Pittsburgh Promise a little bit.
Something like that, yeah. But there was a whole application process. They only picked like 9 or 10 people from each city per grade from the 5 major cities in Ohio, and then every summer you would go up to Ohio State and take coursework.
What is coursework?
Like college coursework, prep work, exposed to different things. And the 1 year, I believe I was going into the 7th grade. And a couple of things happened. So I took the TV production workshop, and I had my first time holding camera. I loved it. I mean, and that's why it's
DVR. What was they called back in the day?
no. It was a shoulder mounted. Yeah. It was a funny story. They let us go around campus shooting, and I go to get a shot of some building or something, and
that's just
they didn't. Well, no, they didn't lock whoever set the camera up didn't lock the lens in. So next thing I know, the whole camera falls. I just have a lens in my hand. But yeah, man, and
hit the ground.
Oh, it hit the ground. It was bad. It was like, but they weren't mad at me. I was like, hey, man, I ain't locked in. Yeah, y'all supposed to set this stuff up right. But, we at the end of the workshop, we had made a little TV show. Jerry Springer was popping back then. So we made a fake mock Jerry Springer show. It was pretty silly. Fights and everything. I played security. I played the Steve role. But that's why it's so important to put, equipment and put in the young people's hands, because that very thing really influenced the whole course of my life. Between that and Bill Clinton showing up in Youngstown, Ohio, speaking at the B&O station. And I was sitting there like, I never really got into media because I wanted to be an entertainer. It's like you said earlier, it's propaganda to me. I was like, I don't know if you know Youngstown, Ohio, but it is.
I know of it.
It's a small little old steel town here in Northeast Ohio. It's like you take Pittsburgh and 1/8 of it and put a whole bunch of steel mills and then close them all down at the same time.
Oh, shit.
All the mills closed at the same time. So it really depressed the area very much. And that's why I was like, why in the world is the guy running for the president of the United States here at the B&O station? And that's when I learned about the Electoral College. I learned about basically that where goes Ohio goes the rest of the country generally. I mean, there's I think there's like 14 electoral votes from Northeast Ohio. So if you can control and swing, and I was involved in elections, my family was into politics somewhat. I worked at elections, handing out nail files and stuff as a little kid. So nail files outside of the school on election day. We didn't hand out nail files.
Listen, you gotta keep you fucking your nails.
Hey man, they put all type of. I was doing stuff at the fair, and
it's $1
they use but that I didn't get to go to the second victory party, but the first victory party was crazy. That's the whole thing. But why is this person coming here? Why is this person? And I started asking myself that question. So it made me realize if you could sway enough votes, then you could have real power in this area, And how do you influence a mass amount of people? Television, and that's kind of what, between that and this all happened around the same time. Between that and that Young Scholars Program, it made me, it led me down this path. My first job, work study in Columbus, I was a cameraman for PBS. I would have
really dope.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
How old were you then?
18. WOSU television. Yeah, it was a great experience, man. I mean, I could have took it even so much further. They would hire work study students to do the football games, so you could do that type of stuff. But it's my pops calling. We should drop him on the show.
Nah.
Yeah.
What's up, pops? All right, so
you could really do a lot, and that's why just to get back to your point and where I think you were going, it's so important to put these type of real tools for media, art, what have you, in the hands of young people, because like I said, it could really just guide the direction of a person's entire life, which it did with me, and that's one thing that
that's just within learning and understanding at school.
Yeah,
and that's the beautiful thing about what it is that we do. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
why do you think I want to work with this group here? Because I see what you do. I see what you do with the community. I see how you guys support artists, and I want to be a part of that because we got to pass on our crafts,
right?
Man,
Right. All right, so let's talk about. Hold on one second. Shut your mouth. And,
you guys got whole conversations going on the phone.
Hear
We
you,
live
by
doing
the
a
way.
podcast.
Jesus, shut it up. Listen, Elaine, you're supposed to tell these guys to keep it quiet.
Why on the set?
Shut your mouth. Anywho, sorry, family. We got off track. But anywho, what would you say, in terms of what it is that you do, what would you say excites you the most?
Making things beautiful. You know, I
like that. What does that mean? That's very broad.
Oh, I know. It's like I used to do this thing called daily frame, where I would just take a real dope picture every day and put it out there.
Daily frame. That's hard. That's great branded. I like branding wise. I can see the logo like.
And they had the little
frame hanging on.
Well, they had the little filter on the it was on my Instagram, and they had the little filter like film strip filter, so like a frame of film.
Nice.
Man, do you know? I'm about to date myself. I've been in television since it was analog. You know, I worked in television.
So a lot of people might not know what analog means. So we have analog, and then we have digital, right?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. So analog basically means you got to push all the buttons.
But no. Here's what it meant when it comes.
It's more machinery though, yeah.
Well, no, the tools were so much bulkier and bigger. It would literally broadcast the image through the on them their houses and stuff. Yeah. Digital, it's literally broadcasting binary code, which tells your TV or your receiver this is what it should look like.
Right.
And one of the biggest things I noticed when they did the transition was that, like, if you walk in front of a TV during digital now, it can mess up the signal because it's literally beaming streams of code, where before it had this big broad
that happens with the TV in my kitchen. That shit, we use this little antenna thingy, and I swear to God. And then as soon as I move away to go make some food, that's just like, I'm like, come on.
And that's exactly what and you used to not get that with analog, and you might have some like fuzz issues and this and that, but no, but you know what though? I remember when the microwaves were like big as heck, like a whole big situation going on. Now you got little tiny microwaves, microwave your burrito.
He was 5 and they were like, this is the
man.
No, that is.
I'm about to sound old as shit. Like Blu-ray and Laserdisc.
Oh, okay.
Remember Laserdisc players? Yes, they didn't make it.
Blu-ray did.
Yeah.
Blu-ray sounds cooler.
Yeah. I mean, branding, man.
And they had the little discs. They were just little. They were nice.
Yeah, man.
He like over there cracking up. All right, so let's move
on the past. In history.
So this is a good question. What's a misconception about being someone in media that you'd like to address?
A misconception.
Yeah. Something about being a media artist or a photographer or a videographer or whatever in the media realm that you would like to address. A misconception.
There's a couple of things. So the first off is a lot of people say there's no money in art. There's no money in art. No, there's no money in unless you brand yourself. People do projects for nothing. And when you see some of this work, you're like, yeah, it looks like you paid nothing for that.
Right.
And if you remember earlier, I said I'm only doing certain passion projects, certain projects that I want to do, is because I'm not diluting myself. Everybody wants to shoot for nothing, and it's like, no, like I'm a master craftsman, like I'm college educated,
right.
I'm a
master craftsman.
I've been doing this. Well, I am. What do you want me to say? I've been doing this for 20 plus years. Your things like you can't even. Like, you'll look at some people's photos and then look at my photos and be like, oh, completely, you know what I mean? Just people don't know.
There's a quality that's there.
Yeah, and what do you want? So if you, I think that artists really need to believe in their own craft and in their own work more and put value behind that. And I've been trying to teach that. Like, I'm trying to teach people like the streaming platforms with the music. We've made it's so easy to access music and this and that it almost doesn't have a value anymore.
Right.
And I'm trying to teach people how to, put the value back in your music, make the $10, $15 off of something, a digital download. You could still incorporate that into your iTunes music. There's other ways to do it, still stream, but do things like,
So, sorry, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I just want to get some clarification. So, are you pro to an artist releasing their music on their website prior to?
Yes, I'm
putting
preaching
it out
that.
On Apple and all that stuff.
Yes, I preach
creating
that.
their own marketplace.
We'll
get there.
Oh no,
Get too happy.
No, I preach that to people because think about it, like back in the day. back when I was young, you used to be able to get 1,000 CDs, press and sell them, make your 10, 15 bucks and people was bumping your stuff. Even before that, people had the mixtapes going on. Where's the value in this craft that we're doing nowadays? Put it back in music, release it on your website. Release bonus tracks that you can only get by buying the website. Your true fans, like people are going to stream it. That's why you do the platforms later. However, get that money from your real fans. Your real fans are going to spend that $10, $15 to support you.
So how do we take an idea like that and truly make that popular, truly get it to where like people actually feel like that's the right move to make? Because I feel like you and I can say that all day, right? But then we have these younger artists that are watching all these other guys get it done through these platforms, and they're, doing whatever they're doing, and they're looking up to that. And we're saying, no, you can do it yourself. Build your own website and pay the money to host your website and all this. When the idea of success is, I don't know,
education and economics, my brother. Education and economics.
I know. I'm saying.
Well, no, I know. I'm just saying. We it takes people like us to teach these younger artists.
Oh, Sweater Bob.
How you doing, my brother?
I'm just kidding. I'm
gonna walk back out. We're gonna try that shit again.
I like hanging out down here, man. It's like Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
Let's get back to what we were saying.
Education and economics. Okay. So the education takes people like us to teach people that there is an alternative. How you doing, my brother?
Well, how are you?
I'm swell.
What's up, buddy?
That there's an alternative. And then the economics portion, show them the freaking money.
Right.
Show them, all right, well, if you have this on a platform, you get 10,000 streams, you might make $50. Or put it on a website. We'll set you up with a website. We're going to set you up so you can do your own digital download. You sell 5 units and 6 units, if you factor in percentages like platforms take. 6 units, you've made that same $50. Now, is it easier to sell 6 units or is it easier to get 10,000 streams?
That's a spell. You don't spell units. You sell units. Anyway, no, it's way easier to sell 6 units than it is to sell 100 units.
Or 10,000 streams for that $50.
Yeah.
And you're not completely negating the platforms, like the streaming platforms. We're using, that's another tool in the toolbox. But, put your stuff out first. All the major artists are doing stuff like that.
I'll put it like this. I've done that. And I'm not going to say that I don't have friends and family who don't like my music. I have fans in that way. And I have other people from other areas that I've never been. And that's cool. But I feel like, I guess I did better numbers. But I sold maybe like 2 copies on my site. You know what I mean? Like I'm being real.
No.
But I do agree with you at the same time. So like, what is it? What is that missing factor? What is that missing factor to really see a benefit from us investing in ourselves?
I call it value and perceived value. Okay. I've done a lot of research on this, so it's funny that you asked. It's funny that you asked the question. I'm asking for a reason. It's because like what you have to do, like I said, we've devalued stuff like this so much by making it so accessible now. But the culture now is the one-up culture. Like everybody wants to say, I have this, you don't have that. Let me put it on Instagram, this and that. I call it the one-up culture. So playing off of that, now you want to offer things as an artist in your, instead of just the digital download, you might get a poster. You might get a signed thing. You might get a newsletter. You might get the album artwork, sent to you. That stuff's like, pennies to make, and offer in a package.
But there's so much value because it's not just monetary value, right? It's actual social capital that you're giving at that point.
Right,
exactly. When you're saying, hey, thank you so much for buying my album. Here's a t-shirt.
Right, exactly. Do you know how cheap you could get t-shirts made? It's like it's
MC and Mario Mcclendon. It's the greatest guy in the world. Like,
so now that $10 download is now a $25 package that people could buy, and you might be coming out spending $7-8 a package, and now it's $25.
You're almost tripling your shit.
I mean, and people have to learn this, and it's the merch. It's the merch, man. It's the branding. It's putting your product out there, but you just have to know what to do. You have to believe in it enough and believe in your own craft. Like if I can't sell a $25 package, like by the way, outside of photography, video, and all that, I'm a professional salesman. I've been a professional salesman for
I was gonna excuse me,
20 years.
Who's that? Is that Butters?
I don't know who the fuck this Butters guy is.
Butters is a dancer, but your nickname is Butter.
Butter.
But I'm thinking Butters from motherfucking South Park.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
That too.
But I'm a professional salesman. I sell insurance for a living. Been in the financial industry 20 plus years. Also, I'm really good at that. I love to sell, man. And I tell myself, if I was an artist and I'm pumping all of this money and all of this time, because it costs to be an artist, especially a musical. Yeah, my equipment, man.
Any artist costs money.
Yeah, like our tools are expensive. For you to put all of this money in studio sessions and this and branding and photographers like me doing your album covers, putting all of that money in, if I can't sell a $25 unit, then I ain't in the right business. Right. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Like I'm going to quit. Like not quit, like just not do it because I must be whack if I can't charge $25. I can't get $25 out of somebody, people to download my music and this and that, but you have...
we also have to consider time. You have to consider time, and you have to consider patience as well. I think,
the game that I'm giving.
We want all those things fast. We want all those things right away. We feel that we deserve those things, but showing improving takes a lot of time.
And you know what? And that's a byproduct of the society we're in. Everything's available at your fingertips.
Yeah.
And these artists, you're foolish if you think you're not going to have to grind and put in the work. These success stories that you see overnight YouTube sensations, that's 1 in a billion. Anybody can make it. You can make it if you got good product and you hustle. If you grind
good marketing.
Good product,
Sorry,
good marketing, and that
really good marketing.
That falls under the category of you got to hustle your product. You got to be out there. You got to do it. And if you're not going to put in that work, then you should probably rethink whether you want to get into this game as an artist at all, because you have to. You have to. I mean, who's going to do it? When you're an artist, you are your brand. Your skills are your brand. So, you're not going to have the luxury like I have in the insurance world to have 1 million insurance commercials on TV every day. Like, the brands that I sell. Right. You know what I mean?
You are in good hands.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. I use that sometimes.
So in thinking about being your own brand and thinking about, being an entrepreneur and someone who is making things happen and putting your skills out there in a way that's different. Let's talk a little bit about your new venture. The thing that I'm really excited about, and the reason why you're on the show, because any other way you wouldn't have been. But no, let's talk a little bit about the things that you're doing to kind of help artists, you know, battle that challenge.
So I saw a need in this industry, you know. Because I love, and I started, you know, I got into TV maybe around I did music too as a studio engineer. I pretty much could do anything technical. I'm a nerd for real.
With 300, you do look like Suge Knight.
I'm a 300-pound plus nerd who likes to do martial arts and stuff, but I'm nerdy as crap. But I started doing studio engineering, and I love music. I love art. I love beautiful things, you know, harmonies, and I mean, you know,
I love harmonies. Harmonies are my favorite.
You know, and the thing is that I see so many artists struggling and not being able to, not having any clue as to how to get their product out there, not having any direction whatsoever, not valuing their product, not having a forum to network and put it out there. And so I developed the marketplace, or I call it the marketplace, but it's ourcitymarketplace.com, because and to rewind a little bit, this is an evolution of my original platform that I had several years ago, which was called cityscenelive.com.
I remember City Scene. I know Ben remembers that. He's asleep. Never mind. You remember City Scene?
Yep.
Do you remember? Yeah.
You remember City Scene?
Yeah, I remember. Dude, I remember that.
You remember anything you can tell me.
He's like, yeah.
I need a guy like Ben around, man. He just say whatever. Yeah. Come on.
I remember City Scene. I remember that. Yeah.
Well, what that site was it highlighted nightlife in the city. Mm-hmm. It highlighted artists, entertainers, pretty much movers and shakers. It was way before its time. You know, it was something that now there's millions of them. They're all over the place. Right. But that was like one of the first ones around. You know, and this was what, 07, 08?
Yeah, it was single digits.
Yeah, it was single digits. Well, the biggest problem with that site was that, how do we make money off of it? How do I make money? How, as this developer, that I put all of this, and this is a time.
Did you not put that into advertising? Or what?
Well, I mean, advertising is, I mean, you get pennies on the dollar, you know what I mean? And trying to get artists to support. How is it gonna, what's keeping these artists to keep, and you know, it was a learning curve. But monetization was the biggest problem with that site. And there's nothing wrong with it. It was a great site. I missed it. I wish I still had it. That's what led me to having my own TV show, was that site. But and not YouTube. Like, I was on real TV, and like people were just figuring out how to use YouTube. But monetizing that site. So I kind of like went on, this is like City Scene Live on money steroids. Like I tried, you could literally monetize everything with the marketplace. Anything could be basically bought and sold through the marketplace.
So you're talking products, you're talking
services,
like physical products, you're talking services, you're talking digital products. What else are we talking about?
I mean, I have right now subscriptions are in development. I should have the subscription services up by December or so. You could do booking services. Like and if you have a business that you can accept money in the real world, you can make money off of it on the marketplace.
So much. Are you tapping into crypto, all that stuff, NFTs and all that stuff?
The goal is, oh man, I went down a rabbit hole about the NFTs.
Yeah, I don't know enough. Don't go down.
I'm not gonna go down the right. No, I don't even know. I'm just
asking you a question.
I don't even know if I ever want to go down that rabbit hole again. But now I do. But when they started getting popular, I went on like a 2.5 to 3 week steady session, like just reading more and more and more. I was going crazy online, and like a crazy person trying to understand, because I like a lot of my friends trade in cryptocurrency for a long time, not just since it's got popular, and always like, oh, you should get, and I just never understood it, so I never dealt with it. But when these NFT things came out and it affected my craft directly, I said, I need to know what's going on. And there was like a moment, probably like in the middle of the second week, I was like 4 a.m. I'm up on the computer, like reading shit. And then I ended up on the Ethereum blockchain site. I was actually reading the raw Ethereum code. I was reading the code, and I was like, well, first off, I didn't even know that it was code. Well, I didn't. Well, I knew what the hell's a blockchain. I didn't know anything about it, any of this.
Something on the computer.
So when I got there, and I was like, I literally said out loud, like mind you, it's 4 a.m. and I'm 5 million cups of coffee in, like on this computer, and I was like, holy fuck, I can read this code. This is code. It made perfect sense. And then like a floodgate of possibilities. Like what it really is just a digital online ledger that says who owns what, by whom, who gets the royalties when this particular thing is bought and sold. And, I see the future of the music industry, actually artists distributing their stuff as NFTs, distributing their product, their music as NFTs, because an NFT isn't this magical thing. It's just somebody wrote the code in the blockchain, like, all right, well, this person owns this record. Whenever somebody buys and sells this record or art or piece of art online, this person gets a royalty. You get royalties through that, man. It's so deep. So to answer your question, I'm working with programmers. Like I could incorporate it in a couple of different ways, but I want the marketplace to I don't want artists to have to get hit with big percentages by going through some of the NFT formats that are out there. So I'm building that raw into the site where, what they're called, and it's crazy. Like when you set something on the blockchain, it's called a smart contract. It's literally an electronic contract. That's what they're called. It's an electronic contract that says, say you release your stuff, your album as anything as an NFT. Mario Quinn owns this, and whenever it sells, he could sell it. But then if it sells by anybody else, like so, say I buy it and then I sell it. Well, I get my money and you get a royalty. And it forever. It's a smart contract. The contract is on the freaking blockchain forever, and
I just feel like that's something that we're gonna have to, for the common folk,
like people that ain't gonna stay up for weeks, all night long reading this shit.
Continue to unpack, because I feel like I understand it to a certain extent, but even myself, I consider myself the common folk. I'm like, I have no idea what I meant it, whatever it is. I understand it, but I don't understand it. You know what I mean? It's like, what is that?
Because do you know that there's a new internet? Like I ended up, man, it's funny. The way I describe it's funny because it's like I'm doing all of this research, and I ended up in a Discord group with some real shifty programmers, like with handles, biblical names. Like this dude's name was Gideon, and he's like, "I got the papers for you, man." Gideon. Yeah, no, man. It's like I was on a quest trying to figure this stuff out, man. He's like, "I got the papers." The papers, I call it the papers, but it was like the chunk of code I was looking for to incorporate it into my site. But in order to even get into that group, I had to get on the new internet. There's this thing called MetaMask, and it basically turns your browser into a crypto wallet. Like it's so interesting. Like there's
that sounds crazy for me, man.
I know, man. It was crazy.
What, you gonna turn my browser into a wallet?
Yeah, I'm just saying. Well, because man, this is the new market, man. This is the new world, and the new world.
How does the people tap into? Like if we're talking about this, like let's at least give them some value. How can the people listening and watching tap into what you're talking about?
Well, I would Google MetaMask, it's I think it's made by Firefox or something, Mozilla or something like that. But
Which is also Firefox.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, Firefox is the product. Mozilla is the. Yeah, I'm telling it for the people, not for you, for the peoples, man. It's for the people. Everything I do is for the people, man. You have to understand that, man. I love the people, man. I'm for the kids.
Oh, you trick daddy, huh?
No, man. No, that was old ODB said. He said that at a concert at a music award show. He got dirty bastard for the kids. Man, I keep dating myself over and over again, but no, I would.
Yeah, he's 58.
I'm 58 now.
I'm kidding.
I'm looking pretty good for 50s. But
what are you, 37?
39.
39. I knew 39.
Yeah,
I was
man,
thinking 39 and I didn't say it. And that's why you should always trust your instincts, family. My instincts told me 39. And I didn't say it. I doubted myself.
Got you by like
No, I doubted myself though. Never doubt yourself. Always go with your gut.
I got a great story about going with your gut.
Let's talk about it.
At the casino down here, the Rivers Casino, one of my buddies said, "Dude, I'm really good at trivia and stuff. I almost made it on Jeopardy once when I was a kid.
Shit.
Yeah, I'm really good at trivia." So he's
said,
like,
"What is? Don't give a fuck."
Yeah, dude was like, "Well, I got this thing. They're having this like quiz show for $25K. Blah blah blah. I need you to come down." And I go down, and I actually got picked to be on it. And I was there was only 3 people left. It was like an elimination thing that started out with like 50, 100 people. And when I was down to me and 2 other folks, and the question was, this is a national or a natural. What of the following was one of the 7 wonders of the world? And it had a bunch of things, and one of them was the Grand Canyon. The other one was the Library of Alexandria. Well, the question was written flawed because the Grand Canyon is one of the 7 natural wonders of the world.
Yeah,
they said
the Grand Canyon.
It's freaking grand.
It's beautiful. I've never even seen it, but I heard it was nice.
Yeah, well, from what I gather, it's a pretty awesome place.
Yeah,
but I have been told.
He said, from what I gather, that's the funniest shit.
But yeah, so I went with that as my answer instead of the Library of Alexandria, and yeah, but my gut was telling me it was the Library of Alexandria, and yeah, I lost.
You take the Grand Canyon because that makes sense too.
Yeah. And I lost $25K that day because then they had to like round robin game for the last 2. I answered like 60 of the questions. Like these other 2 people that made it were idiots. But so yeah, go with your gut. It's very important.
It's important. All right, so family, we're episode 105. Got my man Aaron Mcclendon on the show. Super excited, man. It's been such a good interview so far. He has such a good mouthpiece. Pause. And we're going to play a game.
What? There's games involved?
Yes, we got a game. This game is called, I don't know which one I want to do. No, I don't want to do that.
I need some.
Let's do, let's do fact or opinion. So I'm going to say a phrase or a statement, and I want you to tell me
if it's a fact.
If it's a fact or just my opinion.
Okay.
And why, of course, because we got to unpack shit. All right. So, Aaron.
Yes.
Professional athletes are overpaid.
Opinion. And I'm going to say why. Because I'm a capitalist like a mother. And I believe, the amount of money that's in professional sports is the byproduct of the market. We eat that shit up. Mm-hmm. Even the Romans, think about it. Back in the day, freaking arenas and stuff. Mm-hmm. They those people, the gladiators were larger than life figures. Mm-hmm. You win and you were on, and this is our modern gladiators. Mm-hmm. These sports. If we don't spend the money, they ain't gonna pay them that much. Right. So until I wouldn't
want to get my brain and neck damaged for
Right.
Like, you gotta pay me at least a couple $1 million.
And so, and you know what? The sad fact is that when they weren't being paid that much, you know, the equipment wasn't as good. And
Dude, they had
the CTE,
leather helmets.
Yeah.
Excuse my cough.
Well, even in the 80s, you know, the whole and that movie was set here in Pittsburgh about the doctor who found out
the
about
concussion movie with Will
concussion.
Smith.
Yeah, the concussion syndrome.
Yeah, man.
Cyril Wecht, who I think is an awesome
like
person.
Extreme brain swelling. It's very.
It's scar. It ends up having scar tissue in their brain from, you know, putting your body on the line. You know, I train and you train in Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, you know, and I have the utmost respect for those athletes that do that professionally.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've fought in a couple of tournaments just on the Jiu-Jitsu side, but I ain't going to let nobody kick me in my head with that as hard as they can, you know, and I train.
One championship will allow you to kick a guy while he's down.
Yeah. I mean, you should be able to. I
don't know, man. I'm a UFC guy. But anyway, let's not talk about fighting so much. Let's get through this game, and then we'll go into our other hobbies.
Okay. Well, that's an opinion to me. I think that those men and women athletes, professional athletes, really should get theirs because
I agree because because like you said, the extent of brain damage from playing any, like, especially any contact sport like that, is like, of course, like if you get hit in the head, dude, all it takes is one wrong fucking angle, one wrong fucking another guy's behind you, how fast the guy's going, like, you know what I mean? I agree. And those guys train.
And that's why it was important for them to start paying these college athletes.
Yeah.
It was important.
Have they paid them?
Well, they gave them,
because that's another thing I've heard about. I heard that college football, especially, makes a lot of money, but the football players don't make no money.
I went to Ohio State, Ohio State University.
The university itself makes a ton of money off these sports, but the players don't make nothing.
I mean, you figure
that's crazy.
I think the horseshoe. It was a horseshoe. Like they built up another side while I was there. I think it holds like 115,000 people. Have you ever the amount of people that flood the campus?
That's in Columbus.
I went to I left Youngstown, went to Columbus for my freshman and sophomore year of college. And I mean, the amount of people that flood that campus, from alumni to this to that, to spending money, the merchandising, you know, you're merchandising these jerseys and so forth off the backs of these kids, and you're just like, oh, we're giving you free school. You know, you could get your career ended as a college athlete. Yeah. You know, they're putting their body on the line just like everyone else. And you know what? If you're making millions and millions and millions of dollars off of it, off of the TV, off of the merchandise, off of this, off of that, you should get paid. Right. Like, so I don't think that they're paying college athletes, but they did allow them to be able to get endorsement deals now, which is a start, you know, which is a start. And say, oh, we're paying for it with their college education. Yeah, man, that's a racket. They had this. They had that as a racket for years. It was like some straight Godfather pimp type shit, you know. And they were pimping these athletes out for the schools. And
I'm not gonna say that you're lying, nor am I gonna say that you're telling the truth. I don't know.
Hey, that's why it's called factor opinion.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. Last question on the factor opinion side of things. I want to see what you say to this. The fastest human runs 28 miles per hour.
That is an opinion. That is an opinion. That is opinion as opinion. No, I think the fastest human runs like 10 point something miles per hour.
Okay, the fastest recorded human runs 28 miles per hour.
I mean, that mother. I still think it's an opinion because I think the fastest human can only run between 10 and I've read this somewhere. There's no way. I think a cheetah runs 32 miles per hour.
75.
75? Really? Shoot.
So,
now I've seen
the fastest human in the world at the time that I wrote this question was Usain Bolt from Jamaica. 29 27, 28 miles an hour.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
Yes, he's fast as fuck.
Hey man, I couldn't imagine a cat
That's
running.
an actual fact.
Yeah, because
But cheetahs run 75 miles per hour at their fastest, but they can only run for short periods of time.
We were just talking about those scooters.
A couple yards, and then they're done.
We were just talking about those scooters that they got around the city that go 15 miles per hour. Those things look like they're floating.
I rode one for the other day, and I was gliding. It was so fun. I felt like a little kid. I was like, ooh. Like, it was so fast to me.
Yeah, I would be scared to go that fast.
Saying 12. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going so fast.
If I would see some human running, I'm doing 25 past my car.
I'm that fast. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at Wikipedia. Okay, Sports Illustrated. The Britannica even agrees with me. Okay.
I need our production assistant Ben to help me out real quick.
Listen,
you want to drop this onto the charger over there?
Usain Bolt is a fast guy.
Man, do you know how thank you, sir. Do you know how ungodly fast that is I mean, could you imagine? Like, I would be tripping. Like, just imagine this cat chasing you.
30 miles an hour.
Basically. Like, man, like, whoa, there ain't no getting. That's
Guess what? You want to hear something crazy?
What's that?
A full-grown male grizzly bear can run faster than that.
Oh, I know. That's
and they can climb trees.
Oh yeah.
And they can swim.
Do you know that they say the yeah, man, you
so imagine you camping with the fam, and y'all just bump into a nigga like, hey, boo boo, I'm out, and that nigga catch you.
Man, and then they're massive. They're like 8 feet tall. It's like
they're like 900 pounds. They're very big.
Do you know
almost a ton?
I've read some articles about grizzlies, and the best way, like if they're one's coming at you, they want you to and get big on them, like and try. Yeah, that's that. No, but that's what
that grizzly's gonna be like.
That's and apparently that's like your only hope is that you intimidate them enough. That no, I mean read it.
I know the survival techniques.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna look at this bear. I'm gonna make eye contact. I'm gonna stay calm. I'm gonna move backwards.
That's gonna get you attacked, man.
And as slow as I.
Because you're afraid.
No. Bear might think you're getting ready to pounce then though.
Look, steady.
Look.
And I'm moving backwards, and I'm not even going this slow. I'm actually like this.
So this is a funny story during quarantine.
I'm out of here.
During quarantine, when they shut the gyms down and I couldn't train, and I'm like, I need to train. Like, I need jujitsu. Like, I was walking down the street and there was a big old buck in my name. Like, we get city deer here. And there was a buck walking there. Yeah, it was a teen. It wasn't no 5-pointer, but I was eyeing it up like, man, I think I can take it. I was like,
as soon as it does this, it starts doing this to your face.
Man, I started
1-2s every time.
I started growling at it like, I mean, I was so thirsty for a fight. I was trying to challenge this deer. I had a plan too. I was like, when he runs up, I'm gonna jump to the side. I'm gonna take his back. I'm gonna take him down. And I was like, man,
wow,
I was really going through it during quarantine, bro.
I beat up a deer.
I didn't even realize it until like 30. I was like, man, am I challenging this deer right now?
You're wilding. Mother Nature is way stronger than we are.
Man, I'm a byproduct of Mother Nature. I'm a 6'1", 300 pound.
That's scary.
I got some work.
But let's talk about that a little bit before we get to one of my last questions. But I do want to talk about that. You know, we both share a passion for martial arts, combat sports, and you know, bettering yourself through those avenues. So can you talk a little bit about how you got into doing jiu-jitsu, how you got into just, you know, getting into the combat sports arena and all that stuff? What sparked that?
A couple of interesting stories there.
Sure.
So as a teen, Youngstown, Ohio is a big area for boxing.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up right around the corner from Southside Boxing Club. My cousin was a fighter. His stepdad was a WBC champion of the world, bantam champion of the world, Greg Richardson.
Okay.
Kelly Pavlik, who was middleweight champion of the world a few years back. I grew up with him. And they all trained out of Southside. My cousin was on the U.S. Olympic team for a while. And trained out of Southside Boxing. And I would hang out down there. And some of some of my older friends were managing fighters and so forth, and getting into the promotion game. And I remember people like being at my mom's house getting contracts together, like it's crazy. But one of my biggest regrets was not actually getting in the ring and training. So that's something that lingered with me.
Do you mean getting in the ring and fighting, or getting in the ring?
Just even training at the gym. I was a football player, I was into the football thing. But
I mean,
I hung out at the
You look like a fucking defensive lineman.
Yeah. I played center and defensive tackle.
Okay.
And
DT, that makes sense.
Yeah. But I regretted not going to the gym. I regretted not training. I it's something that I love. I love fights. I love fighting. I love watching fights. And a couple of years ago, man, I was in a real bad place in my life. I didn't have nothing. I didn't, I just moved back to Pittsburgh. I was living out of a freaking extended stay hotel. You know what I mean? And it was just a real low point in my world, and I needed something. And I was managing a bar here on the North Shore. I was talking to one of the guys, and he was telling me about where I train now. He's like, oh yeah, I trained down at Stout. I went down there, blah, blah, blah. And, I showed up one morning, went and did a bag class, a heavy bag class. And that was cool. And then that next day, a couple days later, I went to a Saturday class for jiu-jitsu. I'm just trying to think. And I remember, I'll never forget the one instructor, Mark Sestock. He said to me, I was like, well, I'm thinking about joining and blah, 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 and this and that. And but I don't feel like I'm in good shape. So I'll probably just just train like the physical fitness program versus. He's like, dude, if you want to do it, just do it. Just do it.
He's like, man, can I do the like aerobic portion?
So I did that Saturday class, and we were choking people, and it was just like I got addicted at that moment.
Isn't that crazy? So I'm gonna say the same thing. So it's like I'm like interested in boxing. I'm like, all right, I just want to work out and not have a dad bod. And then I start learning boxing. And then I start learning Muay Thai. And then I'm like, shit, I'm so scared to get hit. And then I get hit. I'm like, oh my God, I just got kicked in the face. What the hell's happening? I love it.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane. And then you become it's really addictive.
Oh, it really
I love it so much, man. I think
it releases dopamine in your brain, just like any other exercise. But it's like, I remember I was listening to Joe Rogan, and he was saying,
my guy.
"Yeah,
Sir Elk Meat."
yeah.
He's like, I just ate 8 pounds of elk today. That's it.
Yeah, man, can you imagine how big an elk is, man? Those things are
huge.
Yeah,
Moose are huge. They're very huge. They're 10 feet.
Yeah, this is stupid, man. Like we got some real monster. I want to fight a moose.
They're big as shit. A moose.
I definitely want to fight a kangaroo. Like, I think I can take a kangaroo.
But speaking of fighting,
no, let me jump into
say your point, because I want to go back to your cousin. Greg Richardson,
that's my cousin's stepdad.
Okay, not your cousin.
Well, he's family. Greg the Flea Richardson, man.
Dude, his record is insane.
Yeah, he was dope, man. I'm telling you.
I'm looking at his record. Like, I'm like, damn.
You know why they called him the Flea? Because he was so fast you couldn't hit him. That's why he was a flea.
The flea.
You know what I'm saying? But
fleas are fast.
So yeah, I got into the jiu-jitsu. I got to do. Oh, what I was gonna say with Joe Rogan, he was saying something about along the lines of, what do we do every day when we go out there? What do we do? What do we do? And you go, you play a mock death game. You choke somebody until they tap out. Well, what does tap out mean? It means you killed me.
I almost died.
Yeah, I almost died.
If I didn't tap, I would have died.
Right, you would have killed me.
Because that's how serious these sports are.
Right,
they're not here to just be pretty about.
This is some real violence.
These are war.
Yeah, these are war tactics.
War moves.
And then we joke around about, man, you almost you could. I was about to go out.
The idea of someone getting knocked out, concussed.
But it's humbling.
Yeah,
it humbles you to a point and makes you one of the most humble people.
There's that sportsmanship of martial arts, or of any sport really, but like in martial arts, it's like that respect. It's like, yo, thank you for giving me the honor.
Thank you for taking me to the brink of death.
Exactly.
You know, but
exactly, and I that's the part of it that I love the most.
What I think about it though is like the way that it affected my life in such a positive way is because think about waterboarding, right? When you waterboard something, you cannot trick your body. Like you cannot, even though you're not really going to drown in waterboarding, your body's still going to have those same natural reactions as if you were drowning. You cannot trick these reactions. And it's like, if somebody's choking you, even though you know you're on the mat, you're like, panicking. And so it teaches you how to progress through situations, not to panic, work through a situation. Okay, I know my training. I know how to escape,
to breathe, to all those things.
And I say that if you can handle a person choking you to the brink of death, anything that life throws at you is
a peanut.
Yeah, it's not seriously. It's like, yo, dude, I almost got murdered this morning, but like this person.
I almost got murdered this morning, but
yeah. And just whatever goes on through my day really can't bother me. I just was at the brink of death, Shoot.
Oh shit, Aaron, you're the greatest, man. I would love to continue to unpack that, but I want to get to one of my more important questions and then let the people know how they can continue to follow you and just watch the things that you do and stuff like that, and just keep in close contact. Pause. And but my biggest question is, for the young people out there, man, those who aspire to step outside the box, those who aspire to become entrepreneurs, do things that they would never do, or maybe they're thinking about trying something out. Like, what advice would you give to that young person out there in the world?
Same advice they gave me when I was trying to do jiu-jitsu. You just got to do it. It's you could have an idea, you could have this, you could talk about it, but unless you execute it and chase your dream, I mean, do you want to wait 20 years and have regrets like I did about not getting into the gym? No, it's like, if it's something that you feel passionate about and you want to try it. If you fail, so what? You tried it, and that's more.
At least you took a step toward. Excuse me. At least you took a step toward.
And 95% of the population won't even take that step. Right. When they live their lives in fear and regrets. Oh yeah. I don't have any regrets. It's like, and it took me a long time to learn that and develop it. And it's like, I'm going to do what makes me happy, and because I'm the only person that can make me happy, and I'm not afraid of taking a chance. I'm not afraid of failing. Don't be afraid to fail. You'll fail. The only way you'll ever succeed is through failure. Just think about, like I said, my first website. Well, what was wrong with that first website? Now I built on it again. I wasn't afraid to build another site and put myself out there and build a brand new platform through the failure, so to speak, which it didn't fail like that, but it didn't achieve the ultimate goal, which was make me fucking rich. No, I'm kidding.
It's called time, brother.
No, exactly. And through that failure of it not being exactly what I wanted it allowed me and made me know everything that I did wrong or that I can improve on. Because I don't really think I did anything wrong. It was these things needed improved on. Yeah. And through that failure, I built something that's bigger, better. You almost have to fail. You have to fail. Like
those are the stepping stones to success.
Exactly.
Because if you don't fail, you don't learn anything.
And the learning is the key.
Dude, I'm telling you, in any business or anything that you do that has business attached to it, failing, or anything in life, man, learning something takes failure. It takes those lessons. It takes that. It's like, nigga, you don't know not to touch the stove until you touch the stove.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't know not to jump off the shit head first until you jump off the shit head first, bust your head open. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, I mean, I know that's kind of crazy and gruesome, but like, You know?
No, that's actually what is it? That's actually a psychological situation. I can't think of it. Not fight or flight, but
basically.
Yeah.
Basically. I hear what you're saying. It's like that. It's like, I mean, kind of like fight or flight.
Well, there's several different ways to learn, and that's one of them. That's one of them through your like association. It's like an association. Like if you touch the stove and burn yourself, you know for the rest of your life you associate.
I'm not touching that. That shit hot. You know what I mean? Period. But but I think failure, even on a mental, just from the mental perspective, is like going through like someone saying no to you. You have an idea, and you're pitching an idea, and that person, and you think it's the best idea in the world, and then you pitch it to someone, and they're like, "No, that sucks." Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like failure, even in that way, teaches us like, okay, well, so that's how I learned how art is subjective, because I thought, well, if I draw a good picture, I make a good logo, I make a good piece of art, they're gonna buy it, they're gonna love it, it's great. And then I got a no, and that taught me like, oh, what I thought was good isn't really good. It's based on the perspective and interpretation of the person.
Yeah, not that it wasn't good. It was that you just hadn't found your market, you know,
or my niche or whatever.
Yeah, and that's what's so beautiful about the internet, because you could find your market out there no matter what.
The internet is called the World Wide Web, which means everybody.
And you know, it's funny. I watched this. There's a Jay-Z motivational video circulating around. And he was talking about how every record company shut them down. They got a no from everybody. Mm-hmm. And it was through those no's that they decided to self-distribute and start Rockefeller Records and do it like that, because everyone said no. Mm-hmm. And then he also talks about my uncle. He's like, my uncle said I would never sell 1 million records. I sold 1 million records like 1 million times. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's my cat, man. I'm a big Hova fan. But yeah, I mean, there's like even some of he's a billionaire now, you know, but his product, which was a great product, you know, wasn't it took him a while to find the market, and he found the market by being an entrepreneur and starting himself. So if you believe in your product, if you believe in yourself, you got to have that attitude like, man, I can fail. However, you know, it's not a permanent thing. I just have to find my market. I have to find the people that are looking for this, because there is a market for it. You know, if you like it, somebody else in the world, on the World Wide Web, likes it. And you just got to find that niche.
Right. No, that's peace, man. That's true. Because that's how subjective shit is. It's like there is that right customer for every brand, if that makes sense. But before we get off,
we're crushing it, by the way. We're crushing this episode.
I know. But before we get off, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to, or anything that you feel has been on your heart that you really want to address?
You know, I want to address, because I really am doing this marketplace, you know, it has a way for everyone to earn money. And I built it out of love, man. Love for what we do as artists. I built it out of love for, I want to see other people succeed and have a forum. And I love this shit, man. I love seeing people create. I love people, and there's a passion that goes into these creative processes. And, you know, seeing that passion in other people, it's something that's beautiful to me, you know. And, you know, as out of anything, I just like helping other people, you know. And I think through helping and serving, you know, our community, we could get the next generation. I mean, we could keep kids out of trouble. We could keep people with things to do positive and bring a positive light to the city. So, I want to shout out all my people in Youngstown, Columbia, everywhere.
He finally got some slow snaps, y'all. He didn't get no slow snaps.
What are slow snaps?
It's my signature. Like if you say some good shit, snap that shit out.
Man, bro, I've been dropping.
You said
jewels.
some great shit, but I was so into it. Damn. All right, I'm gonna give him his dude slow snaps. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3.
I've been dropping jewels out here. I don't know what you've been
for the whole episode. Hold on, guys. All right, we done.
No, but I want to shout out my peoples in Pittsburgh, Columbus, Youngstown. My artists that I'm working with, T Sly out in Youngstown.
Yeah, shout out to T Sly. That's my dude.
Yeah, he's killing it. Right
What's
now.
the other cousin? What's his name?
Yeah, Drama.
That boy. He. Whoa, what's up? I'm like, hey. He's like, yeah, let's build. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, man, them cats are killing it. Frontline Records.
They go hard.
Big Red Records. Yeah, man. Folks are really putting some moves together. The movements is real, So,
what's up, man?
And shout out to you, man, for having me. And
thank you.
Thank
you for being on. This is the most fun I've had on the podcast in a while. Where I felt like I was actually having. Never mind. Anyway, before we get off,
I want one last thing though.
Okay.
Check out Level Up. Maybe I'm doing the. We're
we are in partnership. Wow, I'm such a shady ass.
Yeah, well, no, I forgot to the last.
So, Aaron and I have partnered here at Level Up. He's running all of our open time during the weekends, mainly on Sundays between the hours of like noon and 7, where he's doing open photo shoots, video shoots, whatever you guys want on the media area in terms of film. So if you're looking to get a photo shoot done, a video shoot done, even hit him up.
Prime Lens Photos, PRIME.
Yeah.
Lens, LENS.
And we're doing it here. We just did a pop-up shop. It was a great night. Before that, we did the block party,
which was great.
Which was great as well. So if you're looking to get some photos taken, you want to collaborate, whatever it is, reach out to me at the Mind of Quinn, at Level Up PGH, at
Prime Lens Photo.
Exactly.
You can go onto the marketplace, info at ourcitymarketplace.com.
Mm-hmm.
My Facebook is Prime Lens Photo. City Scene Live _TV on Instagram. I got a whole TV thing that I'm planning through this too. So we're gonna really start I got methods to broadcast live on every social media platform, like real TV. That's that master control.
What's the one place? The TV place, commercials and shit. What is that? Free public TV.
Public access.
PCTV.
PCTV. Yeah, PCC. I was a member there for a bit.
Yeah, you get a membership, get some commercials and stuff.
You get all type of cool stuff there. They do some really cool stuff. But when I broadcast my show, we had a TV show on WBGN where Aaron and I was like, this is in 2008. I had a TV show on in 3 states, and regional. But that was because I was master control. I was connected to the TV station. They gave me a time slot right before American Idol Rewind on Saturdays, prime time. We was dope with it, man. But you got to think about it. That's in 2008. That's before. That's
before everything.
Come on, man. They weren't giving money.
I think MySpace was still popping. I think Facebook had. When did Facebook drop?
Yeah, I wasn't on Facebook yet. I had a MySpace.
I had a MySpace, and I had my own CSS.
So that's what I mean.
And I did myself. I knew how to code back then somehow.
Yeah, well, everybody knew how to code.
I don't remember any of it though. But anyway, because I feel like you and I can talk forever.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna cut it because we have been on for let's see, family. Let's see how long have we been with y'all? Ooh, we've been on for nearly an hour and a half.
Whoa.
Longest podcast I've had to date. But Aaron, one more time, man. If the people want to join the marketplace, where do they have to go? How can they stay connected?
www.ourcitymarketplace.com. Go on there. We teach. See, and that's the difference. There's a difference in my marketplace. is that not only are you getting the ability to monetize everything, there's affiliate structures built in that pairs podcast hosts, social media influencers with products that they can actually earn money off of. But we teach e-commerce. We're a teaching site. I want people to learn how to e-commerce, and everyone's incentivized for helping each other on the site to learn this craft. This is a craft of e-commerce marketing and buying and selling products and services online. And it's something that has to be learned. And my idea for this site is to not only be a network for art and artists, but a form of education where people can learn how to really do this thing of ours.
I love it, man. I apologize.
I got snap on my stuff.
Hey, slow snaps for the man. He slow snapped himself, family. This is the first person who ever gave himself slow snaps. So I'm going to go ahead and follow it. But I apologize. I got distracted by the noise outside. But anyway, family, this has been episode 105 of the Level Up Podcast. I do want to say, please follow me, your boy Mario Quinn, at the Mind of Quinn on all social media platforms, of course. I am also a MC. I have an EP out called Year of Influence. That's on all platforms as well. And of course, please follow Level Up Studios at Level Up PGH. We are also working diligently to open a new space called the Level Up Apex, and we're still raising money until September 21st. So if you want to support us, please check us out at leveluppgh.com/Apex PGH. Family, it's your boy Mario Quinn, my boy Aaron Mcclendon, episode 105 of the Level Up Podcast. We here and we out. Peace.
Peace.